Here's one of the biggest things that you can do to increase your success as a business owner. This is one of the hardest earned lessons that I had. This took me about 7 years to figure out, to be completely honest. But once I cracked the code on this, it has really increased my success. It's added, honestly, like 2 zeros to my, monthly revenue, and it can do the same for you. So what am I talking about here? One of the biggest things you can do basically to get better results, to drive more revenue overnight, is to learn how to remove your attachment to money. That emotional attachment you have that makes you want to kind of like hold on to money, finding a way to remove that will instantly increase your results overnight. It sounds totally idiotic, to be honest. Like, as a business owner, you want to be a shark, you want to cut costs, you want to like run a tight ship. But you have to do it in a way where you're not really, really emotionally attached to money. I remember when I was first starting off back in 2017 or whatever, I was fresh out of college. I didn't really have any money. I had a nice job as a management consultant, but I wasn't even making like 6 figures at the time. So I was very emotionally attached to money. When I would launch ads and spend like $50 on, a campaign for the day and it didn't produce anything, I'd be like stressing, and I'd constantly be trying to penny pinch. I'd constantly be trying to like hold on to my money. That I was always a failure in business those first couple of years because I thought with that mentality. I wasn't afraid to spend. I wasn't afraid to invest. And that really, really held me back. But once I reached a point where I just started seeing money as just kind of like another resource, then I became much more open to making the right investments, allocating my capital in a way that grows the business. And ultimately that took me from running a business that only made like $300,000 to $400,000 a year to about $10 million a year in a pretty short time frame, realistically. So once I dropped that emotional attachment to money, then it really helped me to just be much more successful as a whole. So I think the question you might be asking at this point is, how can you make that happen? Now, what worked best for me, honestly, was actually, again, this is counterintuitive, but losing a bunch of money. I found personally, I've had maybe 2 instances in my life where I've just taken some pretty significant losses. I've gotten nearly wiped out financially. Coming off of that really helped me to remove that attachment to it, because I kind of realized if I just lose all my money, I know how to make it, I'll just make that. And especially when you ran a successful company before where, you're seeing pretty big days, you're seeing, consistent 5-figure days inside your business, then you kind of just develop this mentality of all right, it's just money. I can make money. I know how to make money. I know what the process is that it looks like, so I'm not going to be super attached to it. If we have a bad week, a bad month, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of money out there. It comes in abundance, and I will just make more. So once I started kind of thinking with that sort of mentality, I became significantly more successful in my business. And I've gotten this same piece of advice from several friends of mine who learned this before I did. So if you find yourself struggling in your business, if you're plateaued, if things are not going in the direction you want them to go, that could be the root of the issue. Is you are too attached to money. You need to learn how to let go and just, make things happen. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop those in the comment section.